Alright guys, despite the prior setbacks and criticism from the MMA media, it appears that nothing is going to stop the UFC from bringing live events back to pay-per-view. And with UFC 249 being rebooked, we have an epic lightweight matchup as our main event, with the UFC's most underappreciated fighter, Tony Ferguson, looking to become the interim lightweight champion once again by taking on the always dangerous and always entertaining Justin Gaethje,
aka J Smooth.
Now, as we all know, the most cursed fight in MMA history and the one fight that we need to finally settle the dispute of who the greatest lightweight in UFC history is has once again been scrapped due to travel issues caused by the current pandemic. But with Gaethje stepping in as Tony Ferguson's opponent, I have to say that this fight actually has more potential to be a violent and entertaining spectacle than Khabib and Tony can possibly be. Do you agree?
No, the best lightweight was Roger Muerta. Roger freaking Muerta. The boy had the looks, he had the bod, and he had the skills to pay them bills. He retired undefeated. Look it up.
Looking at the stats in this one, we have Tony Ferguson coming in at 5'11" with a 76.5-inch reach. We have Justin Gaethje also coming in at 5'11" with a 70-inch reach. So we have Tony Ferguson taking a huge reach advantage in this one. Tony Ferguson is one of the most well-rounded and effectively unorthodox fighters we've seen in the lightweight division. He has a long, lanky build with an incredible reach, and he knows how to use every bit of that to his advantage. He's great at throwing jabs and straight punches at a distance. He has great footwork and is great at cutting angles, keeping his opponents guessing at all times. Tony also has some of the sneakiest and sharpest elbows we've seen in the sport, making every fight a potential bloodbath. While he doesn't carry a whole lot of power at this weight, he throws consistent volume and fights at an aggressive pace with unrelenting cardio, being able to methodically break his opponents down where he can turn up the heat for the finish. On the ground, Tony is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Eddie Bravo. He has some of the best guard work we've seen in the sport, always looking to transition and set his opponents up for a submission, and is also dangerous with his elbows from this position. He's also incredibly dangerous in scrambles, always looking for the neck to set up the Darce choke or the rear naked choke.
In addition to that, you left out he has some of the best conspiracy theories thanks to his teacher, Mr. Eddie Bravo. A lot of people leave that out.
Justin Gaethje is a violent and unrelenting powerhouse with an extensive background in his own right. He is the former World Series of Fighting lightweight champion and is no stranger to title fights. Justin Gaethje also fights at an aggressive pace, always looking to trade fire with his opponents. He's very heavy-handed and very imposing, often looking to back his opponents up for his vicious uppercuts. Gaethje also has probably the best leg kicks we've seen for a non-Muay Thai fighter,
and non-dancer,
which are very effective in setting his opponents up for the hands up top. Gaethje is an NCAA All-American wrestler, but does not prefer the ground game whatsoever. While he has shown to have great takedowns and ground and pound in the past, he much prefers to use his wrestling to defend takedowns and keep the fight on the feet. Alright, now looking at the fight itself, while Tony has been on one of the most impressive winning streaks in the lightweight division and has faced all kinds of adversity during his run, Justin Gaethje is going to be one of the most powerful opponents he'll have faced. With Tony's unorthodox style comes a level of recklessness that has gotten him into trouble on more than one occasion. Tony has shown to be incredibly durable and has an amazing chin, but it's not something he's going to want to take for granted against Justin Gaethje, as Gaethje is a finisher and will be looking for every opportunity to make it an early night.
I wouldn't say recklessness, I'll say innovative. Let's give this man a little credit here, Eric.
Gaethje will for sure be looking to trade fire with Tony and will probably be packing more power in his punches than Tony on fight night. However, Tony's crazy reach and precise jabs and straight punches are going to make it hard for Justin Gaethje to land clean. In Tony's last fight against Cowboy, he showed an incredible ability to land almost at will, avoiding Cowboy's own shots using his reach and movement. Cowboy is taller and much rangier than Justin Gaethje, so avoiding Gaethje's power may prove to be easier for Tony. However, Gaethje himself is coming off a win over Cowboy, and in that fight, Gaethje, rather than pressuring and brawling with Cowboy, showed a patient and technical game, throwing multiple leg kicks at Cowboy, causing him to lower his hands and leave himself open for Gaethje's knockout blow. Gaethje's leg kicks can be an effective tool in stopping Tony's movement and keeping him in Gaethje's line of sight. Tony has shown to be very good at checking leg kicks in his fight with RDA, but I would actually say that Gaethje's leg kicks are faster and he throws them more consistently. If Gaethje can immobilize Tony even a little bit, his chances of being able to stop Tony rises. Now, one major advantage that Tony will have over Justin Gaethje is his cardio. Gaethje, while always dangerous, has shown to slow down a bit in the later rounds, especially when his opponents are able to land on him. And with Tony's aggressive pace, Gaethje may have a hard time maintaining his gas tank in the later rounds. Gaethje also has shown to have a weakness against opponents with better boxing, or who are at least technically better with their hands than him. While Tony's boxing is certainly unorthodox, it's still very effective. On top of his jabs and straight punches from the outside, Tony's very good at putting combinations together and knows when to turn up the heat when his opponents begin to wear down from the volume that he throws. From the start of the fight, Tony should have a much easier time finding a home for his punches against Justin Gaethje, using his reach, and if he can stay consistent while not getting careless and leaving his chin open as he's done in the past, he can possibly have Gaethje broken down by the third round, where he can completely take control of the fight and cruise his way to a TKO or even a submission. Overall, I think Tony has all the major advantages in this fight. Again, Tony's 7-inch reach advantage should make it easier for him to land on Gaethje while being able to avoid fighting him in the pocket. He's also more technically sound and precise with his punches in my opinion, so he should be able to methodically break Gaethje down and tire him out for the later rounds. Leg kicks could be a factor, but Tony has shown not to be fazed by them in the past, and with his durability and threshold for pain, I wouldn't expect him to fade under Gaethje's fire.
I wouldn't attack the legs, I'll attack that knee. Everyone knows he has a bum knee now.
According to him, he has a chip in it.
Yeah, he has a chip, microchip. I would attack the knee, not the leg.
I think Tony's biggest threat in this fight is himself. Should he get reckless and leave himself open while pursuing a finish, Gaethje can certainly make him pay for it. But with the composure that he showed in the Cowboy fight, I expect him to carry that over into this one. I expect Tony Ferguson to make history and become the first ever 2-time interim lightweight UFC champion with a win over Justin Gaethje in this one. Alright, now with all this being said, this is certainly going to be an unusual fight. This fight is happening in the midst of a global pandemic. How much is it going to affect these two coming into this one? Especially with this being a short notice fight.
And how's it going to affect their hairstyles? I haven't had a haircut in like 5 weeks now, Eric. Look at this. I look like a dang hippie.
This is a much shorter notice of a fight for Justin Gaethje than it is for Tony Ferguson. Tony's been training since who knows when.
Yeah, he already made weight.
Will Justin Gaethje even be able to make weight? How prepared can he possibly be to fight an opponent the caliber of Tony Ferguson in such a short amount of time?
Well, let me stop you right there, Eric. He's going to do just fine. You know why? Because my boy Jay Smooth stays ready. That way he won't have to get ready. He knows what's up.
Going back to Tony Ferguson's unnecessary weight cut, cutting that amount of weight, especially with what he claims to walk around in at, 200 pounds or whatever, that's putting a big toll on your body. Is that going to diminish him going into this one, especially his chin?
It would affect a normal human being. It would affect him a lot, but we're talking about Tony Ferguson here.
Now, another big factor going into this one is the lack of a crowd. They're going to be fighting in an empty arena. Nobody's buying tickets to this event. Nobody's going to be sitting at this event.
I say good. I don't want to have to look at any more stupid celebrities trying to look cool in front of the camera. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to. Anthony Kiedis, say bro, you're not cool.
How much could this possibly affect Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje? These two fighters are very high adrenaline fighters. They seem to be two guys that very much feed off of the crowd's reaction. Tony Ferguson has been a fighter who has been in the brink of defeat on more than one occasion. And, when that adrenaline kicks in, he comes back and he gets the job done. How much do you think the crowd is a factor in that?
I'm pretty sure it's huge. Let me give you a perfect example. Obviously, when people see you, they know that you probably never worked out a day of your life. Not one day. I, on the other hand, been known to throw some weights around here and there in my earlier years. It's much easier with music on to get yourself to that next level. That Jean-Claude Van Damme level. You know what I'm saying? When you're invincible. Without music, it was a lot harder. So, no crowd. I'm going to say it's going to be a dramatic change for these fighters. It's going to be a rude awakening. It's going to be who wants it the most.
Let me ask you this. Should Justin Gaethje win,
Jay Smooth,
will he be inclined to do that risky backflip that he always does when nobody's watching?
Well, no one's watching in the crowd, but he knows, Jay Smooth knows, 'cause he's so dang smooth that people are going to be watching on TV. So yeah, I'm expecting that backflip. And if he doesn't, he's robbing the people.
All right, now one big factor that always comes to mind for me whenever Tony Ferguson is fighting
His tattoos.
is his age. The man is 36 years old.
Looks every bit of it too.
He's not young in fight years whatsoever. Hasn't showed any signs of slowing down as of late. But, age catches up with everybody. And with all the wear and tear he's been through, will this be the night that it finally catches up with him? Or does he have a Diaz Bros type of chin that will never diminish?
It sounds like you want Gaethje to knock out Tony Ferguson. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm about to say pump the brakes. My guy, what are you saying? What are you wishing for? What are you hoping for?
No, I gotta say, I'm certainly rooting for Tony Ferguson this one. I want him to get a shot against Khabib, but like I said, he's not getting any younger.
You don't think he knows that? Looking himself in the mirror, Eric. You don't think he knows that?
He definitely knows that, and I think that's a big reason why he's taking this fight. got to make as much money as he can before retirement.
Before he goes to Bellator.
Or that MMA's retirement home. But, Justin Gaethje is still, I would say, young in fight years, although Justin Gaethje himself has been in a lot of wars and has shown to not have that great of a chin. What do you think about any of that?
Shoot, I don't know. I'm with you guys. I don't know. Well, I'm with some of you guys. I know some of you guys are out there probably saying, oh yeah, Jay Smooth all the way. Some of you guys out there are saying Tony Ferguson all the way. I'm saying, hell, I don't know. I'm just a pretty face and great hair.
With Justin Gaethje, he has that wrestling background, but we have yet to see him use it. Will this be the night?
I don't know. It'll be kind of dangerous with Tony Ferguson. He's like an octopus down there. Like an octopus. Dude got limbs for days.
I gotta say, as little as Justin Gaethje has used his wrestling throughout his career, it wouldn't be wise to start that now against somebody with the jiu-jitsu level of Tony Ferguson. This is going to be a stand-up war to our delight. It's going to be a fun fight.
So who do you got?
Oh, I already said I got Tony, and I'm rooting for Tony. Although I'm a huge fan of Justin Gaethje myself, and Justin Gaethje versus Khabib is definitely an intriguing matchup in its own right. So I gotta say, it's a win-win situation for us fans.
I couldn't agree more. But if it goes past 3 rounds, I'm leaning towards Ferguson. I think Justin Gaethje might be able to get the win. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But if it goes past 3 rounds, I'm leaning more toward Ferguson.
All right, guys. Now, whether or not this event should be taking place with what's going on in the world is up for debate. But one thing I can't argue against is the potential that this fight has to be another Fight of the Year candidate. And while I do have Tony winning by late stoppage, it is very possible that Gaethje can win this fight with an early knockout, making this an exciting matchup and one that shouldn't be missed. Again, we thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you all for the recap.
So I've said it before, I think this is the definition of MMA, a matchup like this. I do not believe it cannot be a great fight, a great matchup. I believe there's going to be some serious carnage, some serious violence. I'll probably bleed. I hope he breaks my nose. I've been waiting for a long time for someone to break my nose so I can get it fixed. But yeah, man, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and what about...